Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the CSMI radio broadcast, Today's Christian Music with James Burkhardt.
And good afternoon. With me on the phone is Lydia Walker.
Hi,
Singer,
James. Thanks so much
songwriter,
for having
and
me.
worship leader. Oh, you're real welcome. So tell us, how did you get involved in music to begin with?
I've loved music my whole life. My whole family was musical, and so that was just normal. Growing up, we were always singing around the house, singing in the car, and I've always had a love for it. Grew up singing in church, and so it's just been a real natural progression since I was real little.
And how many instruments do you play?
Well, I've started out on guitar. That's my main instrument, but recently I have picked up ukulele, and I have played some covers on ukulele and tried to bring that out at concerts, and it's always really fun to use that. So those are my main two instruments these days.
Well, you've got a very good ukulele video on YouTube, I noticed, that kind of tickles everybody's, when you hear it, it's really good. So.
Oh, thank you so much. I enjoy making cover videos of different popular ukulele songs.
You do? Well, what started that trend for you?
I really just picked it up because I enjoyed it and started posting videos, and it seemed to be putting a smile on people's face, and they would enjoy singing along to something familiar, so I just kept doing it.
And it's boosted your views to your YouTube channel? Are you getting a lot of buzz because of it?
Yes, actually, there's one video that's gotten over 100,000 views, and I didn't know why. And so that actually sparked me to look into putting music out there and videos that people are searching for, because I realized it was being found in search a lot, and that was a ukulele cover of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And it wasn't even a good quality video. I never promoted it, really. I think I posted it on my Facebook once. So it was all coming from people searching it on YouTube. And so since then, I've been trying to really optimize my videos and use keywords that people are searching for. And that's really helped me build my audience with video.
Well, that's good. Sounds like you're getting some real good social media advice there as far as for your career. Now,
it's
got
amazing
really
what the internet can do.
Yeah, well, part of what I do is show people how to harness the full power of the internet for all sorts of good reasons. And Christian music is one of them.
Of course, there's a lot of good things you can do with it, yes.
Yep, indeed. Well, what I was going to ask you was, how did you get involved in podcasting about songwriting of all things?
Well, you know what? I realized I was asking myself some questions, and I was trying to think, what if I couldn't play guitar anymore? What if I stopped being able to travel and sing these songs? What would I do, and would I be okay with that? And so I think just as a songwriter, I realized even if I wasn't able to do all those other things, I think I would still write songs. And so that's what I'm really passionate about, is the meaning of the songs and writing songs that will connect with people and encourage them and inspire them. So I really enjoy the craft of writing a song, and I've learned from so many great people over the years. I've been songwriting for 15 years now and have mentored with some great writers. And so now what I'm wanting to do is give back. And so that's why I've started the Rustic Songbird podcast, which is all about the craft of songwriting. And I'm interviewing different writers about their process to hopefully help beginners that are just getting started to move them in the right direction, or if people have been writing for a while, just taking it to that next level. So we're a little over 25 episodes in now, and it is so fun to be able to talk about songwriting and to really go deep with it.
Well, how did you actually begin writing your first song? What inspired it?
I was always around music, and so one thing that exposed me to writing was my mom wrote poetry. And so my first song started out as a poem, and as I was getting interested in guitar, I started putting music to that poem, and that's how it all got started.
Well, that's a good way to start. How did you get into leading worship? What's the progression that led up to that point?
Mm-hmm. Well, it all kind of happened around the same time because I was 12 when I picked up a guitar, started learning, and I think it was great to learn so young because I had time to practice, and I was really dedicated to practicing every day and getting better at it. So I would play guitar, I would write songs, I would hear a sermon and then write a song about it, or I would read a verse and it would inspire a song. And so a lot of them had really strong scriptural messages, and then I would play those for people at my church or at Bible study and things like that. And when I was in middle school, I was invited to play guitar with their praise band, so I started doing that, and then I was asked to sing backup. And then all of the other older musicians had graduated out, and they asked me to lead. So I'm actually kind of a shy personality naturally, and I've had to learn to be up in front of people and to speak in a microphone. And that didn't necessarily come easily to me, but I believe that God gave me such a passion for music that it propelled me forward to be able to sing in front of people because of the message of the songs and the meaning of it. So I love leading worship, and I got started with that pretty young, so I've had a lot of experience with that as well. And one thing that's really neat about leading worship is it's so different than just performing, because I do believe that it's an example by being a lead worshiper. And so that's my chance to really just sing to God, and it's not about impressing other people. It's about singing to Him, and then hearing all the voices of the people joining with me is like a little piece of heaven. I love it.
Yeah, it's there's nothing else like it on this planet, that's for sure. Anyway, well, you've just come out with a new CD project. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that? We'll be getting to the title cut made for this a little bit later at the end of the show.
Yes, there's a new project that just came out on iTunes and Amazon and Spotify, wherever you download and stream music. And it's got 5 songs that are all about motherhood. And that's the season that I'm in now. I've played music pretty much my whole life, but I have 2 little ones. I have a 2-year-old daughter and a 2-month-old baby boy. And so as I was pregnant and having babies, I was inspired to write these songs for young moms that are going through some of the same things. And so I've written these songs specifically for them, and it's coming out just in time for Mother's Day. And the song made for this is kind of an anthem for young mothers especially, that they were made by God to do what they're doing and to not give up, because He has given us a high calling as mothers to raise children, to love Him, and to take care of them every day takes so much determination and just trusting in God, because it truly is a 24/7 job. And so I just want to encourage moms everywhere that God sees them and He cares about every little detail of our lives, and they're not forgotten, they're loved. So that's the message of the whole project.
Well, on YouTube, there's a video of you at the CSMI Connect conference singing Changing Diapers and Changing the World, which I thought was a very interesting.
Yes. Who knew you could write a song about changing diapers? And it's actually made people cry.
Yeah, well, I don't know which one's more heartstring pulling, that one or a little doesn't stay little for long.
Yes, that's such a sweet song. We just came out with a music video for that song, Little Doesn't Stay for Long, and it's out on YouTube right now. We filmed that the last day I was pregnant before I had my little boy, and then filmed again when he was a week old. So it is really sweet to have that captured and to be able to share that song with people, because that's something that we all relate to. We all grow older, and we can't slow down time, unfortunately. We just have to hang on to all of those precious, sweet moments.
This is true. You turn around and they've grown up, speaking from experience. So it's really good that you memorialize that. So if people want to get in touch with you on social media and your website, why don't you go ahead and give your web address and your podcast? It's all on the website, I know, and places where they can find your music online.
Yes, the best place to find my music is rusticsongbird.com, rusticsongbird.com. And then on social media, you can find me at the Lydia Walker. Lydia Walker was already taken, so it's at the Lydia Walker on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And YouTube is what?
Yes, you can just search Lydia Walker on YouTube, and you can find a lot of my music videos and the cover videos and some of those ukulele videos we talked about earlier.
Yeah, amazing, amazing stuff. So talk a little bit about your performing career. If a church wanted to book you or some sort of an event, what is your booking information?
Okay, you can find booking information in a contact form on my website, rusticsongbird.com, and that will go directly to me. I love singing for churches and for events. I love singing for conferences, and lately I'm looking for opportunities to sing to moms and to work with women's ministry, retreats and conferences, workshops, things like that. I'm also very interested in songwriting conferences or writing workshops and things like that. So I would love to lead worship for those events or be able to come and put on a concert. So anything like that would be really fun, and I'd love to talk to you more about it.
Well, that would be great. The opportunities are out there, and I can say from having seen you, you're quite entertaining and quite inspiring. And
thank you so
you write
much.
music for the heart. Yeah, you write music
Yes.
for the heart, which I really appreciate. Now, in your podcast experience, when you talk with other songwriters, what have you gleaned from that has impacted your own songwriting?
I think the fact that everyone's process is different is so fascinating, and that's why I could talk all day long about songwriting, and I could interview all the songwriters and constantly have new things that are coming up because everyone is so creative. They come from different backgrounds and different perspectives, and I really believe there's a place for everyone and there's a place for their songs in the world. And so we all have a voice, and we need to be able to share that. And songwriting is just one of those outlets to express ourselves.
Well, that's true. And my philosophy is that a good song deserves to be heard. So being an old radio guy and a music marketer of sorts, it's my passion to match up songs and songwriters and bands with audiences that will appreciate the creative, output, let's say, of the artist and the songwriter. So it's very important, that in this day of shrinking record labels and, it's really not quite the systematic approach it used to be. So there's a lot of great music out there that is waiting to be heard. So
I agree. And like you said earlier, there's so much power in the internet. And so now there really is a lot more opportunities than there used to be to get your music out there, especially as an independent artist. if you're doing it yourself and putting it out there, there's a lot of opportunities to build an audience and to get that song heard without going through the traditional way of going through a record label.
Now, I know that you've been associated with CSMI almost from day one, which has been a while. How have you found your association beneficial to you? You know, there's a lot of different organizations people can get.
Well, I love CSMI. I love the community. And this network of people has been so encouraging to me. I've gotten a lot out of it. And I think just the non-competitive nature of it is so good, because that's hard to find. And it really is a group of people that builds each other up. We do events together. We do co-writes together. And that community is so encouraging. And so that's what I've gotten out of it so far, and love being a part of it.
That's awesome. You know, we love doing what we do to help promote people like you and, you know, bring exposure to good music. To me, that's what it's all about. Now, how many CDs have you recorded in your career so far?
Well, I was trying to count them up the other day. I think maybe 11. I've written songs and recorded them about once a year since I started. And so some of those are just CDs that my family has. I have about 5 or 6 that are available on iTunes and my website right now of my most recent ones. And I think each project is so different. There's a praise and worship CD. There's a Christmas CD with traditional Christmas carols. And then I recently did a lullaby CD, and then I'm following that up now with songs about motherhood. And so each one is really different, but they're all on iTunes and all on my website as well.
Yeah, well, I found most everything on Apple Music as well.
Wonderful.
Which is a good place to be. And, you know, so you're definitely out there where people can find you. Since you're a recent mom, again, for the second time, do you have any plans to do any kind of touring this summer? Or are you going to try to lay low for a little bit and take care of the little one? Or what's your future look like?
Well, the great thing about playing music is that it's flexible, and so I can be as busy or not as much as I want to be. So I'm really thankful for that. And I do just take my babies along with me if I am traveling. I'll bring a babysitter or have somebody hold my baby while I sing. And so that's been really neat to include them from birth. They're just around music all the time, and I love that. I do have kind of a slower summer than I've done before, just as we're getting used to going from 1 to 2 kids. It is a big adjustment. So I'm singing for a couple youth camps and a few weekend conferences, and really looking forward to that. I do a lot locally and lead worship for our local church, and so that's keeping me really busy, and I love being able to do the mom thing but also keep that music going.
Well, you've got to do both. They're both full-time jobs, although motherhood is probably way more important than your music career to you.
Yes, it's very purposeful, and I love being able to stay with my kids all the time, have them come with me to the recording studio, come with me to church, and when I'm singing, and just to not have to be away from them is such a blessing.
Well, is there a project or a collaboration that you would love to do that you haven't done yet? What would that look like?
As far as a collaboration, I would probably have to say someone like one of my favorite musical artists is Ellie Holcomb, and she and her husband Drew Holcomb both write amazing music, but she's recently put out music about motherhood as well, and so I think that would be an amazing thing to do something together and to get to sing with her would definitely be amazing.
Well, that's cool. What effect has second child had on your first child?
I was really nervous
personal,
about that
but...
to see. No, I appreciate that question because that was one of the things I was nervous about having a baby again, because all of our attention was on our daughter for 2 years, and all of a sudden she had to share. She had to share attention, and I wondered if she would, be bitter or resentful because of that, but she has been so great. It has actually been a really smooth transition for her, and she's like a little mama helping me with the baby, and whenever he cries, she wants to check on him and give him a passy, and it's just so sweet to see her step into that big sister role. And so God was working it out for us, having her and then having him. I think they're both just such sweet personalities, and I hope that they'll grow up to be best friends.
Well, every parent hopes that for their kids, for sure. It's there's got to be a song in that relationship. Maybe you've already got your wheels turning. That watching.
I'm sure there will be a lot of songs that come out of it.
Well, why don't you tell the story of the song Made for This and your perspective and where it came from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this song is the title of the CD. I think it brings in the whole message that we're going for, and it's just to encourage moms that they are good enough and that God has called them to do this, and that no one can love their kids like they can. And so that's the whole message of this project. And so I want to encourage moms that they are good enough. I think a lot of times we believe lies that someone else could do this better, or we're not doing all the right things, but we just have to trust God and keep depending on Him for strength daily to go through decisions and to take care of our kids the best that we can.
Well, you've got 5 songs on the CD. We talked a little bit about changing diapers and change the world, and little doesn't stay long. What about the other 2?
Mm-hmm. There are 2 more
songs
that we hadn't mentioned yet.
Day, so.
Yes, it's a perfect gift for Mother's Day. Any young moms, I think it'd be a great baby shower gift for someone that's expecting as well. And so far, everyone that has heard it has cried. Everyone tells me, "Oh my goodness, I'm crying. This is so relatable," and I love that. Crying in the best way. But there's 2 more songs on the project. One is called "Do Your Thing," and it's about not comparing yourself and just doing what you were made to do. And then the last song is kind of tongue-in-cheek as well. It's called "Keeping Up with the Joneses." And it's also about not comparing our lives to other people, but to really just step into our purpose and calling and not worry about trying to look like anybody else.
Well, that's a real good thing. So once again, Lydia, why don't you share your social media and your website and how people can get a hold of your music?
Yes, the best way is through my website, which is rusticsongbird.com. rusticsongbird.com. You can find booking information there and links to all of my social media, links to the music that I have out right now. And I would love for you to get a copy of the new CD Made for This. And especially if you know someone who needs to be encouraged as a young mom, this is the perfect gift for them. You can find me on social media at The Lydia Walker on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find some of my music videos, like my new music video, Little Doesn't Stay for Long, on YouTube. Just search Lydia Walker.
Well, that's very simple. And, iTunes, Apple Music, looked like you were on Spotify as well. So you're just everywhere on the internet, which is a great thing to see. And we really appreciate you taking the time out today to chat with us on today's Christian music. And
well, thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, well, we're going to share your song, Made for This, with everyone right now. Thanks, Lydia. We'll catch you on the other side.
Thanks so much.
You've been thinking that you might not be equipped for the task in front of you, feeling like you just can't handle it, what you've been called to do. When you found the end of your rope, you're about to lose control. I just want you to know you were made for this. You were made for, you were made for, you were made for this. Oh, made for this. You were made for this. You've been listening to the lies inside your head, saying to yourself you're not enough, stuck believing life should be glamorous, and you just can't measure up. The truth is that you're not alone, and when it's hard you can know that every moment's beautiful. You were made for this. You were made for, you were made for, you were made for this. Oh, made for this. You were made for this. You were made for, you were made for, you were made for this. You were made for this.
Mom, motherhood is hard and sometimes overlooked, but not by our Heavenly Father. He sees what you do in the wee hours of the night, in the quiet, behind-the-scene places, in the chaos when you long for peace. He sees, He knows, He hears, He cares. So today, cast all your cares upon Him because He cares for you.
You were made for this. You were made for, you were made for, you were made for this. Oh, made for this. You were made for this. You were made for, you were made for, you were made for this. Oh, made for this. You were made for this. You were made for, you were made for, you were made for this. You were made for this.
This has been the radio broadcast, Today's Christian Music with James Burkhardt. For more information about Christian songwriters and musicians international, please go to our website at www.csminetwork.com or email us at cwnnashville@gmail.com. God bless.